wildest Breaking Bad story in Texas. Closing horror or funny stories? Does anyone have any amusing, horrifying closing tales? In 2005, we closed on a house in Texas. At closing, we were informed that the husband who co-owned the house we were buying with his wife was suddenly called out of the country. We were asked if we could wait a week. We had a mother-in-law at our old place coordinating the movers. As we were at the office, our furniture was being loaded into their truck. We said no and asked for more options. Our realtor and theirs went into a different room for 20 minutes and came back. Our realtors pulled us out of the building and said apparently the owner has an arrest warrant out for him and he's not coming back anytime soon. They need time to get him the documents, have him sign, and mail back. Their second option, they offered us to pay rent and move into the house for a week. We would be charged $100 a day, and then by the end of the week, we would receive all the paperwork and the house will officially be ours.
Hold up. So a buy or lease back is like the worst thing that you could possibly do, by the way. That's what that is, right? Buy or lease back?
Yes. From what this has said, they would be paying. So it's their home, but they would be paying.
So buy or lease back.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
Terrible.
We would pay $700. And okay, so nope. Why would we pay $700? And why would it take a week? Could we not FedEx the documents internationally, have him sign and get them back in 4 days max? So the final offer was 4-day turnaround, and the sellers would charge us $25 a day. Why are the seller? I don't understand. Wouldn't you be charging the sellers $25 a day? This is flipped.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. $25 a day, which the realtors would both pay out of their own pockets. We would be given the keys and a document signed by the owner assuring us we would be in full possession of the house within 5 days of the deal, or it would become null and void, and we would be reimbursed $20K for moving costs, time, and emotional distress. Not sure how enforceable it was, especially from someone on the run from the law. Yeah, that's a fair point. We arrived at the new house minutes before the movers. We found out that the previous owners did not leave any window coverings behind, which is a law in Texas. Did you know that?
What?
I would love to see that law. I don't think that's true.
To leave window coverings
Now,
behind?
maybe if it could have been
attached.
in the contract, right?
Yep.
But if it's not, I don't
It's not
think
a
it's
blanket
a
law in Texas that you have to leave window coverings.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah. So we called our realtor, and 3 hours later, she drove up very pissed off with a car full of curtains for a 5-bedroom house. She had to meet the other realtor and her clients, and they had to go through their boxes to find the curtains.
What?
We started cleaning up the place. It is required that a cleaning company give the house a good cleaning.
Not true.
But whoever they hired was not great. As we are cleaning, we find all these dime bags, crack, cocaine, and meth equipment. We let the police know. They come and collect the stuff and do a quick walkthrough. We find out the guy who owned the house has a warrant out for selling drugs. Yep, that checks out.
Well, hold on. They should have just gone on Craigslist and got that $20,000 up front.
Yeah.
You know?
Movers and police are gone. We are settling in. It's nighttime, and we are still unpacked when the doorbell rings. We open it up. A young man is looking at me, maybe 20. He is surprised to see me. Asked to speak to the previous homeowner's name, and I say they sold the house to me and is gone. He asks if I know how far away he moved, and honestly say I think he left the country. A few awkward seconds, and then he thanks me and leaves. I feel like he wanted to ask if I was the new dealer. Over the next few days, from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, we would have our doorbell ring. I finally got a sign and put it on the door saying, new owners, old owners moved out of the country. That cut down on the doorbell ringing by 70%. I then added under it the same thing in Spanish, and we got down to pretty much 0. It was a rocky start. That's wild. I feel like you don't hear about this a lot.
No, only on Reddit.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would do a couple things I do want to say. If you're reading this and you're going to purchase a home, 2 things. Do not assume that curtains are included. That needs to be included in the contract.
Yep.
And also do not assume that it is going to be cleaned. That also needs to be added in the contract.
Yep.
That it is professionally cleaned prior to taking.
Yeah, because what the Texas contract reads is that the home is going to be left in the similar condition as to which it was showed.
Yep.
So if it, pretty sure the crack and the dime bags
Crack
were
pipes
still
were
there
included
before.
when you showed. Yep.
Yeah. So technically, you know, and then as far as the window coverings, if anything's permanently mounted to the house, so like even, you know, like a mounted TV is included. There's a section for exclusions where actually if it's bolted into the wall, the TV is supposed to stay unless it's specifically put in exclusions, right?
You normally see a lot of like refrigerators included in that, stuff like that, right? That you can take
Yep.
if it's not mentioned.
Also, buy or lease back, fun fact, Texas has, and I'm no attorney here, but to my understanding, Texas has a squatting law to where if you're living in a property for so many days, then there's like a whole eviction process.
Yeah.
So a buy or lease back is a huge risk for a seller to take. And my understanding is there's also a risk for the buyer as well. So that's why like buyer lease backs typically, to my understanding, I've always been told cannot be in the contract. Like we can't see that.
I don't think I've ever done one. Seller leasebacks happen all the time.
I've done one twice. Both times, the first time I got yelled at by the underwriting manager, and then the second time I got a call from our like regional president saying, "Don't ever do this again." So a really good start.